So hello and welcome to this Adobe Animate tutorial, and in this tutorial I would like to show you for loops. And the thing is that lately I have been doing some little bit more advanced tutorials and in which I'm using for loops all the time, and I don't want to explain the for loop in those tutorials, so I would like to create one general tutorial about the for loops. And yeah, I don't have nothing to show you what we are going to be doing. I'm just going to explain some stuff about this for loop. So right now I am in the Adobe Animate and I am in the HTML5 canvas. We are going to be writing JavaScript, and I have my width and height, which is 800 by 800, but you can choose whatever you want. And I just changed the color of the stage to something which is not white. And yeah, now I have this layer 1, and I will right click on the first frame and I will go to the actions, and I am going to type very simple for loop. So I am going to type for, then parentheses, and I'm going to type let I is going to be equal to 0, I is going to be smaller than 10, for example, and then I plus plus, and then the curly parentheses. And right now, for example, I can type in here console.log, and we are going to console.log I. And what is going to happen? First of all, at the beginning we have this let I is equal to 0. We are creating a variable. I could go with var if I want, but I already created a tutorial about the difference between var, let, and const. But var is something that you should probably avoid and go only with let and const. But you cannot go with const in the for loop, because const means a constant value which cannot be changed, and we are going to be changing I every time. So the only option, only real option, is go with let. Okay, I don't want to use var, so hopefully makes sense. So let I is 0, so at the beginning I is going to be 0. Then we are going to have this condition that I is smaller than 10, which means that it will go up to 9. And then we have this I plus plus, which means plus 1. And it works like so, that we are going to set I to 0, and we are going to check the condition. Is 0 smaller than 10? Yes, it is. So we are going to run this code console.log I, and I is going to be 0. So we are going to console.log 0. And then we are going to change I with this plus plus to 1. Later I will show you other ways how you can write this code, but for now we are going to have it like so. It's like most common. But yeah, so then I is going to be 1, and we are going to check the condition. Is 1 smaller than 10? Yes, it is. So we are going to console.log 1. And then we are going to increase I by 1, so I is going to be 2. And then I is going to be 8. Later on, is 8 smaller than 10? Yes, it is. So we are going to console.log 8. And I plus plus, so I is going to be 9. Is 9 smaller than 10? Yes, it is. We are going to console.log 9. I plus plus. I is 10. Is 10 smaller than 10? No, so the code is going to stop running. So I will hit Ctrl Enter, and I'm going to hit F12, or you can right click and choose Inspect. But yeah, I have this in Google Chrome, and let me refresh this, and I am going to have all of these numbers from 0 up to 9. If I would change this I at the beginning from 0 to maybe 5, it would mean that we are going to start with the number 5, and if I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, then we are going to have it from 5 up to 9. Alright, but we do not need to console.log I in here. For example, and let me change the I back to 0. If I'm going to type in here console.log hello, for example, it is going to console.log me this hello 10 times. Okay, because we will go from 0 to 9, which is like 10 numbers. So if I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, we are going to have in the console hello 10 times. But we don't have it like so, hello, 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 but it is like in the one line with this number 10. But if I would console.log hello, then comma and I, then it is going to put it like so, hello 0, hello 1, hello 2, up to hello 9. Alright, now let's talk about this I++. This is like the most common way how to write this, but there is like other ways how you could increase I by 1, and you can type that I is equal to I plus 1, and it is going to be working the same way. So if I hit Ctrl Enter, we are going to have the same result. Or you can write the same code as this one, but with shorter syntax, and that's basically that the I is plus equal 1, and this is going to be still working the same way, but yeah. But as I said, the most common thing is to have this I plus plus. See. So now you do not need to increase I by 1. You can increase or you could also decrease I by other number, but usually maybe like 99% or I don't know, you are going to increase I by 1. But there is a possibility to type that I is plus equal 3, for example. So it means that at the beginning I is going to be 0, then it's going to be 3, then it's going to be 6, then it's going to be 9. So if I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, we are going to have it like so. Alright, and also there is a possibility, for example, that let me go like this, and I can say that at the beginning I is going to be 10, then we can have other condition that while I is bigger or equal to 0 and I minus minus, like so, and right now we are going to go from 10 up to 0. Okay, and we go from 10 up to 0 because at the beginning I is 10, and we have this condition that while I is bigger or equal to 0. Alright, but there is a possibility that by accident you are going to create an infinite loop, which means that you are going to create a loop with a condition in the way that it is not going to stop, never, and it is going to like crash your browser, but it is not going to do nothing with your PC. Maybe your PC is going to get a little bit warm, but it's not going to destroy your PC. But for example, right now if I'm going to type it like this, that I is equal to 10, okay? And we have condition that while I is bigger than 0 or equal and bigger to 0, and then we have I plus plus. So we are going to have I, which is going to be 10, and we are going to console.log hello and 10, and then we are going to increase I by 1, and we are going to check the condition. Is 11 bigger or equal to 0? Yes, it is. So it is going to print 11, then 12, up to infinity. Okay, so yeah, I can do this. Control Enter. And right now, if I'm going to hit F12, nothing is going to happen. If I'm going to right click, nothing is going to happen. Basically, my browser is going to freeze, and I'm going to try to close it like so, and yeah. Also, I wanted to show you that it's possible to make a mistake and run the infinite loop, but that's nothing that you should worry about. Okay, but I am going to change this back to let I is going to be 0, while I is going to be smaller than 10, and I plus plus, and yeah, we are going to have it like so. Now let me show you maybe something a little bit more practical, and I'm going to create some kind of shapes. So I'm going to get a rectangle tool, and I'm going to get maybe, I don't know, orange color like so, and I'm going to create shapes like this. And I'm going to convert this shape to the symbol, so F8, and symbol 1 is fine, make sure that it is movie clip, and I'm going to duplicate it like so with Alt and Shift, and let me change the background a little bit because this doesn't look good, and yeah, and I'm going to duplicate it like so and like so. And right now I'm going to create instance names. So this is going to be orange 1, and I'm going to copy this. This is going to be orange number 2, and very quickly I'm going to put all of these names. So this is going to be orange number 4. There is also possibility to get things from the library and not put it like so, but that's a little bit more complex. But yeah, so this is going to be orange number 7, this is going to be orange number 8, and this is going to be orange number 9, like so. And now accidentally I have put it the shapes on the same layer as my code. So this is something that I prefer to avoid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click to layer 1. It is going to select everything, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose distribute to layers. So right now my code is going to be separated. And I can, if I want, select all of the layers, right click right now and choose merge layers. But it has nothing to do with the for loop, so yeah, you can ignore this. Now I'm going to create an array. So I'm going to create a variable const my shapes. You can go with let, but const is more common with arrays, and I have tutorial about it, so you can search it online on my channel if you want. And I'm going to type in here this dot orange one, and yeah, and I will have to put all of this in here. So one more time very quickly, this orange 2 comma this orange 3, this orange 4, and I will go to the new line, orange 5, orange 6, 7, 8, and the last one is going to be 9. Alright, now I'm just going to hit Ctrl Enter to make sure that I don't have any errors, because while creating the array I could miss some comma or I don't know, but I don't have. And now I would like to use this for loop to make these shapes invisible or change them the opacity, for example. So what I can do is I can type that let I is going to be 0, and we are going to have nine shapes in here. So what I can do is I can type that I is equal to 0, and I is going to be smaller than 9. And later on we are going to change this 9 to something which is going to be my shapes.length, but for now we are going to have this as a 9. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type that my shapes I, and I'm going to type that alpha is going to be equal to 0.2, for example. And I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, and right now we are going to change the opacity of all of them. One thing is that, let me just show you that if I am going to write, I'm just commenting out this, if I'm going to type my shapes, for example 0, alpha is going to be equal to 0.2, the 0 one is going to be this one, arrays are 0 based, and the last one is going to be number 8. So if I'm going to type my shapes 0, alpha is going to be 0.2, and I'm going to hit F12 to make sure that I don't have any error. It is going to make this one to have alpha 0.2. And if I am going to type that my shapes 8, alpha is going to be 0.2, it is going to be the last one. But if I am going to try to access something which is not in the array, for example number 9, which is no longer there, and I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, and I am going to hit F12, we are going to get an error, set properties of undefined, okay, because there is nothing defined on the array in the index number 9. Alright, I just wanted to show you, and that's why if I in this loop, if I'm going to have that let I is equal to 0 and I smaller than 10, for example, not 9, and I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, it is going to hide all of them first, and then it is going to give me this error, okay, because it is going to hide them, because up till this point it runs fine, but then it is going to find this undefined value, and I'm going to try to put alpha to the undefined, which is not possible, and it is going to give me an error. The same way would happen if I'm going to have this as 9, like this is okay, but at the beginning I'm going to say that the I is going to be -1, and I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, it is going to give me an error even before it is going to hide anything, okay, because at the beginning I is going to be -1, that's not defined, and it's going to throw me an error. Hopefully makes sense, but yeah, and if I'm going to type that I is going to be equal to 1, and we want to have this until I is smaller than 8, for example, it means that it is going to ignore the first one because we are starting from the 1, we are not hiding the 0, and we are not hiding the number 8 because we have the condition that we want the I go up to 7, okay, because it's like, yeah, if I would change this to smaller or equal to 8, then it would hide also this one. But yeah, and now I'm going to set this back to 0, and I prefer, and not that I prefer, but it's the good practice to type that instead of 9, like so, to type my shapes dot length. And the thing is that I can even later on show you. Let me just show you. Control Enter. We don't have any error. If I'm going to go back to my code and I'm going to type in here console.log my shapes dot length, like so, and I'm going to open my console, it is going to be 9. And the thing is that if you are going to have array, the length is going to be every time one more than the last index, because the arrays, as I said, are 0 based. So if I'm going to have 9 elements, the first one is going to be 0 and the last one is going to be 8, but the length is 9. So that's why we have I is smaller than my shapes.length. That's why I don't have I is smaller or equal, because yeah, if the array is going to have 20 elements, the first index is going to be 0 and the last is going to be 19 and the length is going to be 20. So if you want to do everything for the elements in the array, if you want to do something for all of the elements, this should always work when you are going to have my shapes or the name of the array and the length. And now one of the last thing, let me show you how you can put an even listener to all of them and to hide them on the click. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type that my shapes I, and I'm going to type add the event listener, and we would like to have an even listener of click. And now we have two options. We can either write in here anonymous function, or we can call some function. I will show you both ways. So I'm going to type in here hide shapes, for example. This is the function that we will have to create. So I'm going to copy this, and I need to create this function inside of the loop. I can't go outside of the loop, because outside of the loop I wouldn't have access to I. Okay, because this I is only for this for loop, so I would have to go inside of the function. So function hide shapes, parenthesis, curly parenthesis, and in here I can type that my shapes I alpha is going to be equal to 0.2. And this means that I am going to have an even listener to all of them. And if I'm going to click on number 4, for example, it is going to put an number 4 alpha to 0.2. This may be a little bit like confusing for some people, I don't know. But right now, if I'm going to hit Control Enter, and I'm going to click on this one, that one is going to get an alpha 0.2. If I click on this one, that one is going to get the alpha like so. So yeah. This is how it works, and as I said, you can either call some kind of function in here and then create the function, or what you can do, and I think that this is something which sometimes is more common, is that we are not going to define a new function, but we are just going to type an anonymous function. So I'm going to type just function without any name, parenthesis, then curly parenthesis. And then in here we are going to write the same thing, that my shapes I alpha is going to be equal 0.3, for example. And if I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, this is going to be working the same way. And of course that if we are going to change this, that I is going to be, for example, at the beginning number 2, and we are going to have this my shapes.length, for example, -1, which is going to be instead of 9.8. It means that we are going to have these even listeners to all of them except of first 2 and the last one. So yeah, this is probably it. I just wanted to very quickly show you, probably not very quickly, but I just wanted to show you for loops, and later on if I'm going to create tutorials which are more advanced and some people are going to be like they don't have any knowledge about the for loops, I can put this to the description if they want to learn it. So yeah, this is it. This is all for this tutorial. Let me know if you have watched until the end, or let me know if you would want something differently. I don't know, I'm just playing. But yeah, this is it. Thank you for your time. Hopefully you have learned something. And yeah, goodbye. Adios.